Hello everybody, my name is Rainer, this is Rainier Books and it's Sunday, August the 28th, and after 1 week's break I'm back with a Sunday sum up. Let's go! As you know, who follow this channel at least, I have been to Vienna. I've been to the capital of Austria, the most livable city in the world. That's what they say. 9 of 10 times, I think, Vienna has won the award of being the most livable city on earth. I was at a conference, at a huge conference, the International Teachers of German Conference that is held every 4th year. I've been to a lot of these conferences. I've been to Lucerne in Switzerland in 2001. I've been to Graz in Austria in 2005. I've been to Jena in Germany in 2009. To Bolzano or Bozen in South Südtirol in Italy in 2013. I missed the 2017 conference in Fribourg, and actually this conference should have happened last year, but because of the pandemic it was postponed. And there were more than 2,000 people, and people gathered everywhere, and I thought it must have been a super spreader event, whatever. I haven't got the virus, luckily, in Vienna, and yesterday I went to the Vård Central, to a health center here in Stockholm, and I got my fourth shot of the Pfizer vaccine, so hopefully I am sort of safe to severe consequences if I get the virus. But let's speak about the books. I could not finish a book at Vienna. It was too much. There was too much to do. I was reading a bit in Mary Lawson's novel, A Town Called Solace, a Canadian novel that I also made a single review about that you can find on my channel. This is a marvelous book. I loved it. It was on the Booker Longlist of 2021. It didn't make the shortlist. That's something that I call the Tyler spot maybe on the Booker Longlist, but I'll get to that in a minute. This is a family story from 1972. It's about 3 families actually. The family of a young girl who has her sister missing, the family of the woman who's living as a neighbor to that little girl who is very sick and she's about to die, and about a boy that this elderly woman has known when he was just a little boy, who is now a man, 31, 34 years of age, something like that. And he has been given the house by Mrs. Orchard. That's the name of the neighbor of that little girl, Clara. It's a beautiful story, very well built up, told from 3 perspectives, with a lot of references to nature, to Northern Ontario. Look the single review. This is really masterful storytelling by Mary Lawson, a Canadian author who has left Canada very early in her life. She got married to a British psychiatrist and moved with him to London. I think that's where she has lived most part of her life, but her novels, her 4 novels, are all set in Ontario, in Canada. The second book that I am reading currently, that I have got immersed in now, finally, after having a slow start with it, I'm 98 pages in of a 420 or something like that, is Middle England by Jonathan Coe. I read Jonathan Coe's novel Mr. Wilder and Me, and I also made a single review about this one, so I will link them down below, but also at the end of the video if you're interested. Mr. Wilder and Me is a totally different story here in Middle England, which was published I think in 2018 or 19. Jonathan Coe tells the story of a country, United Kingdom and especially England, slowly falling apart. The divisions are growing between people, and this is very beautifully told in Middle England. So if you are interested in Brexit and how it came about and what's behind it and how the people moved to Brexit and moved to 2 different sides of the spectrum, Middle England is a very good novel to read. I really like it until now. I'm about 98 pages in, as I told you. So I hope to finish that next week. I started another book of the Booker Longlist, and the book that I started and did not finish, I have to say that. I know that a lot of people are going to say, oh my God, no, when I show you the book. That is Audrey Magee's The Colony, because I know that Eric Carl Anderson has raved about it. Bob the Booker has raved about it. I think might be his favorite book on the list. And many other people rave about this book, but not me. Not me, Rainer from Rainier Books. I didn't like it after I read about 60, 70 pages. And I think it was a little bit boring. It's about two people traveling to an island, to a colony, and a lot of things tell me, my little history knowledge that I have of the history of Great Britain and Ireland, that the colony is, the island they are traveling to is an Irish island where people speak Gaelic. And the two people are arriving there are British people. But it's told in a very, it's a very, and I know that a lot of people love language experiments. Sometimes it feels like a poem, sometimes it feels like associations that the author and the narrator has. It's just not my kind of book. I miss the colors, the warmth of the characters, and the real ability to tell a story. Maybe I'm an old-fashioned guy. Maybe I'm the meat and potatoes guy. I don't know. Blame me for that. But The Colony was not my book. So from the 6 books from the Booker Longlist that I wanted to read, I have now read 3 of them, reviewed 3 of them, and I did not finish a 4th one of them, and that was The Colony by Audrey Magee, an Irish author. I have also started reading short stories, and from day to day, every second day or so, I want to read a short story. This is a new book that I ordered a few weeks ago that I also had on the channel, but then I ordered it, then I got it, and this is a book from the United States. It's Morgan Taltry. It's a debut collection of short stories. It's called Night of the Living Res, and this is about a reservation of native indigenous people in the United States of the Penobscot in the 21st century. I only read the first story, which is called Burn, and I really liked it, the setting, and also the things that happen there, when this guy is trying to buy, I think, marijuana or something, and then he doesn't have enough money, so he has to go back to his home to get more money to be able to buy the stuff, the grass, the weed, whatever. And on his way back with the money in hand, he hears screams. It's dark, it's winter in the state of New York. And then he finds this guy and he says, help me, help me, help me, you must help me. And there's a guy, another Native American, whose long hair has been frozen to the ground. It's so cold that his hair has frozen to the ground and he's not able to get up anymore. Well, how that ends and how other stories play out, The Night of the Living Res seems to be a wonderful book. I'm in the second story now, which is called In a Jar, which also has a good start because there's a young man who's finding teeth and human hair and other stuff in a jar, and his family thinks that this is some kind of voodoo, and they have to be very careful. They have to get rid of the jar. In a Jar is the second story. Night of the Living Res by Morgan Taltry is this book that I'm reading on the side of Middle England by Jonathan Coe. We're 9 minutes in. Should I go on with books or should I take a break from the books? TBR for September. What I want to read in September is also another Canadian crime novel, the 3rd novel in the series of the detective Dave Wakeland from Vancouver, Canada, which is Helen Gone by Sam Wiebe. I ordered that book earlier this year, as you know, who have seen a lot of this channel. And since I thought I don't want to wait until Nonfiction November to read another nonfiction book, because I haven't read nonfiction now in a while, I have picked up The Perfect Police State, an undercover odyssey into China's terrifying surveillance dystopia of the future by Jeffrey Kane. This is a book that I also will try to read in September. I've been to Vienna and I bought actually 3 books in Vienna, but these books are probably not so interesting for you because you won't find them in English. You might find the first one in English. I haven't checked that one. It's by a Japanese author called Dorian Sukigawa, and it's called Die Katzen von Shinjuku, The Cats of Shinjuku. Japanese authors do deal a lot with cats, don't they? I love the cover, and I love Japanese literature, so I had to buy this. The two other ones are German or Austrian authors. The next one is a German author, but he has been living in Austria for so many years. He's a TV host. He makes a late night show in Austria. His name is Dirk Stermann, and he was in every bookshop with his new novel called Maxime, which is autofiction, and because it's about an author and a TV host named Dirk Stermann, that's the guy here, and he and his girlfriend or wife, they are in the need of an au pair, and instead of getting a girl, they get a Ukrainian refugee by the name of Maxime. And I heard from a friend that this is not so much about Maxime, but about the family and about Dirk Stermann and about Vienna. And I wanted to read something from Vienna, so I'm still interested in doing that one. Another book that is actually nominated on the German list of the 20 books, the long list of the German Buchpreis, the Deutsche Buchpreis, the German Book Prize Award, which is one of my favorite authors from Germany. It's Heinz Strunk and his new novel, which is called Ein Sommer in Niendorf. Heinz Strunk is also a TV personality. He's a comedian. He's a very funny man. And this is about a man who, his name is Roth, and he goes to Niendorf by the sea. He wants to write a very important novel, and it gets to the Baltic Sea. He will meet a lot of strange and crazy people. That's what Heinz Strunk is about. He's really good in finding and describing strange or weird people. I can't wait to read Ein Sommer in Niendorf by Heinz Strunk, which is nominated for the Deutsche Buchpreis in 2022. These are the 3 books that I bought from Vienna. I watched a lot of BookTube videos recently, and I want to watch more because I want to do more about other booktubers. I have seen some interesting stuff from Jim, for example, talking about stuff from Jim's books, reading and stuff. He has made a very interesting video that I saw and commented on today, which is called, I think, How to Be Successful on BookTube. What means success for BookTube? What means it for Jim? And stuff like that. I will also talk about that subject, I thought, and I'm very grateful to Jim for taking up this subject on his channel. I saw quite some other things as well, but I will dedicate a whole video in the next month about my BookTube watching and about my thoughts on BookTube. Maybe there will be more than one video about this. We have an election campaign going on in Sweden. Today is Sunday, the 28th of August. 2 weeks from now, we have an election for the parliament, for the Riksdagen, the national parliament, but also for the local and the regional parliaments. So we go to the elections on one day for all the 3 votes that we have. And the dominating topic in this Swedish election campaign is gang violence, which is not so surprising, but it's surprising to me. Anyway, we have 48 killings so far this year in Sweden, which is a lot. It will be a new record this year anyway, because the old record is 49 and we still have 4 months to go. So there will be probably more than one person that will get killed over the next 4 months. So we get a new record, and people are scared. In my quarter where I'm living, 2 people have been killed over the course of the last year, only just 400 or 500 meters away from my house. But I think it's not the main problem, that gang violence is the main problem that we have in Sweden, that we have in Europe, that we have all over the world. It's just one problem, I think, that should dominate the discussion everywhere, and this is climate. It depends so much about climate. The climate is changing dramatically. And what I have heard from climate researchers years ago, and what you might have heard years ago, is that they always warned that the end of the 21st century might be problematic. But even now, already now, it's problematic. And each year is hotter than the last one. We get more and more fires. We get more and more heavy rains and tornadoes and stuff like that. And the climate will change much faster than we have thought, and it affects us. It affects more than that. It affects our children and our grandchildren. And it should be on the top notch, the top list of every election campaign in the whole wide world right now. But this is just my humble opinion. So let's see what the Swedish election brings in 2 weeks. Thanks very much for watching the video. I will be back on Tuesday with another one, with a new video from this channel, Rainer from Rainier Books. Thanks very much and bye-bye.